Alors, on discute en détail la prononciation française, the pronunciation in French in detail. So it's going to be really interesting to see how many French pronunciations, how many consonants there are, how many vowels there are, okay, and how they are so differently pronounced than English. Okay, so one thing you need to make sure to understand is that there'll be a lot of exceptions as well. So the exceptions may or may not be covered in this document. I've tried to cover a little bit of them just to give an idea. But the thing is that in any case, you are going to deal with exceptions everywhere in French. This you might know already in case you are at an upper level. Okay. Alors, on va commencer. So, well, French generally has 13 to 15 vowel sounds and 20 to 21 consonants. Do you know what vowels are, what consonants are? If I talk to you about them in terms of English, in English, what are consonants? Does anyone know? Anyone can answer.
Like vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and others are consonants. Other
Yes.
letters of the alphabet are consonants.
Yeah, so that's the case. Like in English, A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. Okay. So what happens is the difference between vowels and consonants is like when you say A, E, I, O, U. Basically, your lips or your tongue are not coming in contact with each other. It's like saying it's like a sound that is being, it's like air being produced out of your mouth. Okay. A, E, I, O, U. Just try pronouncing. But when you're pronouncing B, your lips are coming in contact. C, your tongue is coming in contact with the teeth like that. Okay. So those are consonants really. So it's just that basic difference that you need to know before you start to understand pronunciation. Okay, so vowels in French are quite literally the same, but also you have Y. You also have the alphabet Y in vowels, okay? And then you have consonants. Dans les consonnes, consonants are called consonnes, and you have the pretty much the same ones except for Y. Y is not a consonant in French, okay? And you should know that 98% of consonants which come at the end of a French word are kept silent, right? So you will learn obviously the remaining 2% which fall under the exceptions as you come across more new words. So you can't expect कि आज के lesson के बाद एकदम से बिल्कुल ही polish हो जाएगा, but हाँ बहुत हद तक polish हो जाएगा. That is my promise. Okay? Alors, vous avez les consonnes dans lesquelles les lettres comme C, R, F, L se prononcent toujours. So the pronunciation of C, R, F, and L alphabets is almost always done, except for some very rare cases, right? We're going to talk about exceptions here. So exceptions, you need to know that this document will contain, this workshop will contain the rules that are the general rules for French pronunciation. There will be exceptions as I already highlighted. So, you will still, as you come across more vocabulary, you'll get acquainted to that. But with these two sessions, you're going to get a benchmark of what is always normal in French pronunciation. Okay, my aim is going to be to provide you a good foundation of French pronunciation, and it's going to be, Hindi and English translations along the way, which will help, which will aid your learning, which will aid your, polishing your pronunciation in French. Alors, on y va. Donc là, vous avez les voyelles. Les voyelles, the vowels in French. Okay. Par exemple, on commence avec la prononciation de A. So even if you're on mute, I suggest you all to also repeat. Okay, and I'll keep taking pauses in between after like a few pronunciations to ask you if you have any questions. You can then ask me. Okay, so you have the pronunciation of A, right? This is called A. Just like in English, you would pronounce the word father. You have the pronunciation of A, father, right? Now, likewise, what should be this pronunciation? Can anyone tell me? This should be?
La.
La.
La, right? Then this should be?
Ma.
Okay, this should be?
Na.
Okay, this should be?
Ta.
And this should be?
Pa.
And this should be?
Da.
अब होता क्या है कि ये जो आ और ये जितनी भी बेसिकली जितने भी वावल्स है ये एक मात्रा का रोल प्ले करेंगे सो टू से ओके एक मात्रा का रोल प्ले करेंगे ये आ ई ओ यू वाली जो साउंड्स देते हैं ये हमारे वर्ड्स को सो आई हैव आल्सो इन दिस डॉक्यूमेंट आई हैव टेकन अ हेल्प फ्रॉम नेम्स ऑफ सम सिटीज फ्रेंच सिटीज व्हिच वी विल बी प्रोनाउंसिंग अ सर्टेन वे यूजिंग दोस पर्टिकुलर साउंड्स सो हाउ डू यू प्रोनाउंस दिस वर्ड रियली
Paris.
Paris, because it's the R sound here. Paris, Paris. Okay, so that is Paris. And the last consonant, as I mentioned, is silent. In this document, whatever is silent is going to come in red. Silent is like stop. Okay, so you don't have to pronounce that. Okay, last consonant, usually silent. Alors, après ça, vous avez la prononciation de E. Répétez, E. Okay. So this one I have highlighted in a different color. This also I'm actually going to highlight in a different color because see what happens is that in French, the sound of is the most commonly mistaken sound by English speakers, English learners, okay? But unfortunately, it is also the sound which lays a lot of impact on your grammar. Because if, for example, you're saying je visite, or if you're saying je visite, these are two different things. Je visite is I visit, I'm visiting. And if you say je visite, that means I was visiting or I used to visit, which is in the tense imperfect. So what happens is that this is the sound. Just like in English, you have the words like, I'm going to write them here. Just like in English, you have the words. How do you pronounce this word? Sasikwa? Please. अब ये please है तो नहीं है ना? Please है तो नहीं बोलते इसको? Many students make a mistake of mispronouncing in French. Last वाले को a का ने का sound दे देंगे या फिर ले का sound दे देंगे या फिर से का sound दे देंगे. It's not that. That's what I want to highlight here, and it's a very extremely important sound. It's not a, it is a. So please ho gaya. Ya fir another word that I'm giving you here is this should be pronounced as. It should be pronounced as these. It's in English. It is these, right? So you're not pronouncing it as these a. Or if I give you this word, how do you pronounce it?
cheese,
Cheese hai. Cheese to nahi hai na? So the thing is that in French also, the last alphabet, in case it carries this alphabet, it's not given as, this is not Grenoble. What should it be? What is this? Grenoble. Grenoble. Whatever is underlined in this document is going to be a city name, a French city name. City हो सकते हैं या कोई place हो सकता है या फिर कोई country भी हो सकती है in fact वैसे. ठीक है तो mostly मैंने French cities के नाम लिए हैं आज के pronunciation lesson के लिए. So Grenoble नहीं बोलेंगे इसको. This will be Grenoble. Grenoble. And I'll also take up the R sound in just a while. Okay. Then you have this. You have. How do you pronounce it? I won't pronounce it. Try pronouncing. Lille. Yes, you're pronouncing it as Lille and not as Lille, right? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Nice.
Nice, that's right, Nice. Okay, and Nice not as in nice, but Nice as in a city in France towards the south. Okay, it's a city, Nice. Okay, what is this? How do you pronounce this?
Libourne,
Yeah, in French, the OU sound is OU, which will come a little later. And so this is Libourne, Libourne. Okay, this is the N sound here, right? So I'm trying to focus a lot on the sound. This will be L, M, N, T, B, and D. Not li, mi, ni, ti, bi, and b. Not le, me, ne, te, be, and de. No, this is just like this. Okay, so I've given you Hindi wala also and English wala also, whichever helps you, whichever aids you're learning. Okay. Till this point, if anyone has a question, can unmute and ask. Seems fine. Abhi to bahut basic ho raha hai, theek hai? All right. Now you have the sound of E. This is a long E, not short. I'm writing it here, not short. For example, in my name, when I was in France, people used to pronounce my name as Divya because both the I and the Y here both are pronounced as E, long E. So people would pronounce it as Divya because, it's a long sound. So please, there's no short sound in French, no short sound. Okay, and this is long E. Likewise, this should be Li. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Me.
Me. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Me.
Okay. Après ça, qu'est-ce que c'est?
T.
Après ça, c'est quoi?
B.
Et oui, finalement, c'est quoi?
D.
D. Ok. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Paris.
Paris. So I've taken Paris as an example in two of the sounds because see, it's going to be a combination, like different words in French are going to be a combination of different sounds. It's not just one sound present कि बस एक ही sound रहेगा पूरे word में और हो गया. ऐसा नहीं है. इसमें A का sound भी है, इसमें E का sound भी है. So this time I've highlighted the E. Paris. Okay, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Lille.
Lille. Lille. Paris et Lille. D'accord? Voilà. Maintenant, on progresse vers la prononciation de O. O. En anglais, in English, generally you pronounce it as O. O. Slightly, as a rounded सा बोलते हैं ना, ऐसे O, right? But in French, it's just plain O. O, just like in Hindi, you have O. Okay? Okay, it's not round, it's plain O. So likewise, this should be
Lo.
low. This is
Lo.
Mo.
après,
Lo.
après,
To.
après ça,
Bo.
and
Do.
that's right. Okay. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Sorry, Harsimran, I had to put you on mute. There was noise from your end, and I need to make sure that the recording also comes out clear. Okay. But yeah, you can unmute whenever you have questions. Okay. So yeah, you have this. This is the O sound here. Alors, en la prononciation, c'est quoi?
Grenoble.
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 Grenoble. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Try this.
Limoges.
Yes, Limoges. That's another city in France. Okay, Limoges. So here also, for those who think it might be Limoges or Limoges, no, it's not. A S whenever it comes, it will be given in the later notes also. ES whenever it comes in French, ES, it's sounded as A only. This is A only. Okay, so Limoges. The last S will remain silent. I'm going to put this red. Et voilà, vous avez Limoges. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. You have U. This is slightly different again. You don't have to sound it as U. It's not U. It's U. U. Répétez.
U.
U. Yes. U. Okay. U. So more like this. So this should be
Lu.
Lu. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Mu.
Mu. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Nu.
Nu. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Tu.
Tu. Après ça?
Bu.
Bu. Et après?
Du.
Du. Après? Vous avez des exemples. Okay. So let's look at these examples. Can someone try pronouncing this one?
Rue.
Rue. Okay.
Rue.
Rue is a street. Rue. U. R का sound करवाते हैं थोड़ी देर में, but अभी के लिए अगर आप slightly जैसे softly भी r का sound दे रहे हैं ना, that is also fine. And natives do understand it. I mean, it's not that R का sound non-natives immediately नहीं कर पाते हैं cultivate. So that's normal. So even if you're pronouncing it as rue, that's okay. Completely fine. I pronounced it that way for the first, I think, 3 to 4 years of my French learning. Okay, it was after that that I started pronouncing it this way, but that is completely fine. Even then, you know, when I went to France, people were able to understand me. So it's not about the accent so much as much as it is about learning the right pronunciation. Okay, then you have rue, which is street. Then can you please pronounce this?
Ju.
Jus.
Je.
The S will remain silent here car c'est une consonne et ça c'est juice. Okay, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Nu.
Nu, that's a word for naked. Voilà. Et après ça, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Futur.
Futur.
Future. Future, ok. Et finalement, non. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Culture.
Culture.
This is culture. You have Q, right? So culture. Culture. Try.
Culture.
Yeah.
Culture.
So it's not culture. It's not culture. It's culture. Culture. Right? Try again.
Culture.
Culture. But that's right. Okay. And qu'est-ce que c'est?
Mur.
Mur, which is a wall. Okay. Mur, which is a wall. Now, coming on to Y. Now, see, एक alphabet का नाम, English में you sound this as Y, right? And but the sound is Y, more like a Y, right? Similarly, in English you have Z, but the sound is more like a Z, Z. तो हम एक alphabet का नाम और उसकी जो spelling होती है, ये दो अलग-अलग चीजें होती हैं. I need you to understand that. Why? Because if I say अच्छा इसका नाम तो Z है, तो हम इसको जो zebra word होता है उसको हम zebra तो नहीं बोलते ना, नहीं बोलते ना, हम उसमें साउंड को इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं, हम उसमें अल्फाबेट के नाम को नहीं इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं. आई नीड यू टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सो हियर व्हाट यू हैव इज Y, which is the name of this alphabet, but its sound is going to be E. So I'm just going to remove this part here. Again, long E, just like this. इसका sound and दूसरे वाले का. मेरे नाम में ये दोनों ही sounds आते हैं. So that's the reason I said Zivia, because that's how the people, you know, in France, they used to kind of pronounce my name. So it's E and E again. Both the times it's a long sound. Now, if you ask me कि फिर ये दोनों ही क्यों exist करते हैं, well, that's how the language is, and you need to understand that language में they won't be logic all the time. You'll see. So yeah, I mean, every single time you come across words, you'll have to memorize their spellings. Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Stylo.
Stylo. E का sound है stilo, which is a pen. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Cyclisme.
Cyclisme. That's right. Cyclisme. Okay. So cyclisme, which is the activity of cycling. Cycling as a noun, right? Voilà. Après ça, vous avez H-muet. Now this is a new thing for many of you. For total beginners, थोड़ा सा confusing लग सकता है, but that's okay, don't worry, because see the fact that I'm providing you this recording is also that आप जब upper levels पे आ जाएंगे ना उस time पे if you come back to this pronunciation वाला मेरा lesson, it will still serve as a toolkit. Okay, तो अभी के लिए सुन लो, थोड़ा सा idea लग जाता है, समझ आता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं भी आता तो don't worry, just listen once. For those who are up at upper levels, आपके लिए थोड़ा सा enlightening भी हो सकता है ये कि अच्छा, H in French is of two types. H alphabet in French is of two types. First is called H-muet. Please repeat, H-muet.
H-muet.
Which, yeah, H-muet, which is the mute H. Mute means silent H. Okay. Another one is H-aspiré. H-aspiré.
H-aspiré.
Yes. So H-aspiré और H-muet दोनों ही होते silent हैं. ह का sound French में exist नहीं करता है. You don't pronounce the h. For example, French man जब phone उठाता है तो वो hello नहीं बोलता है, वो बोलता है allo. Allo, that's the word. Okay, so let's look at a few words here. So like you have this word here. This is going to be pronounced as, how do you pronounce it? Please try. That's right. Is a man. Okay. Now these also will be silent only. This H is also silent, and here you have a D in the end, consonant hai, so it will remain silent. How do you think it should be pronounced as?
Omar.
Omar.
Omar. Yeah. Omar is a word for a lobster. Okay. And try pronouncing this word now. H is again silent.
Ibu.
Ibu, which is an owl. Okay. So I said that H in French is of two types. First is muet, second is aspiré. रहेंगे दोनों ही silent. The thing is that with these you need to understand some concepts of liaison and elision. Liaison का concept जो मेरे साथ काफी टाइम से क्लास कर रहे हैं उनको आइडिया होगा liaison क्या होता है. Can you explain to me what a liaison is?
When you join the sound of the last consonant with the first vowel of the next word.
Again, there was a sound. So, okay, I'll put you on mute for a while. Le, and then there is ami. Okay. Le, and this is ami. And what you do in a liaison is that agar aapke paas, if you have a consonant over here, and the word in the next word, the alphabet is starting, the word is starting with a vowel. In that case, what you do is you do pronounce this S. It becomes, instead of becoming le ami, it's going to be sounded as les ami. Les ami. This S will remain still silent. Les amis. This means the friends, right? This liaison is done in case of the H-muet, but not in case of H-aspiré. I told you H alphabet के साथ भी ये चीज होना है. तो हम जब ये बनाएंगे, Om है. Om is a man. Sorry. What am I doing? Yes. Om is a man. You want to make it plural. You will make it with le. So you should be doing a liaison here because I told you H already French में silent रहता है. So अगला जो है वो vowel ही है. Right. So what you will do is this Z will be pronounced and you're going to sound it as how? Can someone try?
Liaison.
So consonant followed by a vowel, there's going to be the pronunciation of the consonant because I already told you that generally the consonant is not sounded, but liaison एक ऐसा method है wherein consonant followed by the vowel, the consonant is sounded. Now liaison will happen in case of H-muet, but not in case of H-aspiré. So for example, here from if you want to say the lobsters, if you wanted to say same रहेगा ले for plural, okay? D S लगा दिया plural के लिए. Can anyone try pronouncing? I said that इसमें liaison नहीं होगा. Can someone try pronouncing this? H is still silent.
Leonard.
Le Omar. The D and S will still remain silent. Le Omar. Okay, so you're not saying Les Omar. You're not saying Les Omar. You're saying Le Omar, right? And likewise, you have this Ibu. And also, ये हाँ, इसके अलावा एक दूसरा कॉन्सेप्ट भी होता है, वो मैं अभी 2 मिनट में बताती हूँ, बट अभी मैं बता रही हूँ ले. ओके, एंड दिस थिंग should become what? How should you pronounce this as?
Leibu.
Leibu.
So instead of pronouncing it as lazy, it's got to be leibu. Vowels, right? So this S will still remain silent. Leibu. All right. So that is the concept of liaison. Liaison is when consonant followed by a vowel, consonant is sounded. एक और concept होता है, which is called l'élision. L'élision. L'élision का मतलब होता है when, for example, some of you might know, जैसे कि L apostrophe L and then ami. Like if I have a male friend, I will say the friend. Okay, तो उसके लिए in French it should ideally be with le because that's the masculine singular article you put, and then therefore this क्या होता है, rule क्या होता है, ये vowel followed by vowel है, तो ये contract होके यहाँ पे apostrophe में change हो जाता है, it changes to lami because you don't say le ami, you don't say la ami, instead you just contract it and it becomes lami, lami. Okay, so अब ये जो l'élision भी है, la liaison, ये दो वर्ड्स अलग अलग हैं, ध्यान से सुनना, देखने में शायद से डिफरेंट लगता है, सेम लग रहे होंगे. लिएजॉन, दिस इज ला लिएजॉन एंड दिस इज लेलिजियन, दोनों की प्रोनाउंसिएशन बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है. ठीक है, सो दिस इज लामी. So this is done in case when you have a word that starts with ash mue. For example, for the man, how should you say the man should be?
Lom.
No.
Long. That's right. ठीक है, the man हो गया. So you're doing the elision here, right? L'élision, right? And now I want to tell you that l'élision is not done with ash aspiré. ठीक है, तो इस केस में क्या हो जाएगा, अब अगर आपको बोलना है the lobster should be
Leumar.
le umar. Le umar हो जाएगा. It's not going to be lomar. Okay, another ibu के लिए क्या हो जाएगा?
Leibu.
So it's not going to be libu, right? Le ibu. So we're not doing the liaison and the elision in case when it is ash mue ou ash aspiré. But now the actual question arises that how are we supposed to know whether it's going to be ash mue or ash aspiré? Right? That's what you must be wondering at this moment. Now, iska reason kya hai why they are divided into these two parts is because it goes back into history that jo bhi ash aspiré wale words hote hain na, they actually come from a German origin or you know from Netherlands mostly. Okay, तो इनका जो origin है उसकी वजह से it was decided back in the historical times that okay these ones will stay with la or la like that only. Fine, I can give you some more examples. I'll provide you a list of it. So it's not possible कि कौन सा word कौन से origin का है, उसके लिए आप Dutch तो पढ़ने बैठोगे नहीं, German तो पढ़ने बैठोगे नहीं कि उसमें जो word है उसको देख लेते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होगा. But you will be provided a list of these words, like you know in 2 columns that these are ash mue, these are ash aspiré, and with the meanings. So you will have to memorize them. But at the same time, I should also highlight कि इसमें mistake करना even is common for French natives. Sometimes even they do make mistakes. Even French newspapers like Figaro type का newspaper, उसके अंदर भी इस चीज के errors मिल जाते हैं. ठीक है? So it's not a huge thing, but yes, since you're learning the language, it's good to know this fact. Right? So till here, if anyone has a question, I'll just quickly repeat what I said. एक होता है la liaison. La liaison is when you pronounce like les amis. So you're basically pronouncing the consonant which is being followed by a vowel. But the other one is a l'élision, wherein if there is a vowel and the other word also starts with the vowel, the next word also starts with the vowel, more often than not, you're going to change that into L apostrophe, lami, lom, like that. Okay, so that is l'élision. This works with ash mue, but not with ash aspiré. This is the whole thing that I explained to you. ये थोड़ा सा और भी elaborate होके अभी आज आगे और भी समझ आएगा. एक बार आप recording को भी जब go through करेंगे, then also it will be better clear. कोई confusions नहीं रहेंगे उसके बाद, I'm sure. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions at this point.
Ma'am?
अभी ये ओम लेजन है कि एलिजन है?
ओम वाला नहीं, इस वाले केस में ला लिएजों है. देखिए इस वाले केस में दिस इज ला लिएजों बिकॉज लेजोन ज का साउंड दे रहे हैं आप. ठीक है, एंड इस वाले केस में इट्स लॉन्ग बिकॉज यू टेकिंग इट इन सिंगुलर फॉर्म. सिंगुलर में लेते हैं तो एलिजियों होगा, अगर प्लूरल में यहाँ पे लिएजों में ले रहे हैं तो वो होगा लिएजों होगा बेसिकली.
ओके,
राइट? ओके, Ashima, you seem to have a question as well.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, there is no way to see if it's ash mue or ash aspiré. We have to learn it, right?
You have to
Doesn't
learn it.
Villa
Yes,
to
because I
Arabic.
already told you that this goes back into history wherein German origin था या Netherlands का था, तो वो languages पढ़ने से अच्छा है कि you first of all just go through the list itself, है ना? So you'll just have to memorize. That's the only way. Okay. So I've actually explored a lot on it. I was trying to find out a way कि कुछ मिल जाए. हाँ, also when you refer to a dictionary, one thing I forgot to mention here. For example, if you come across a new word which is starting with an H and you don't know whether it's ashmue or aspire, in that case what you do is you go to the dictionary and mostly उन्होंने star एक वो asterisk डाला होता है उसके साथ, asterisk बोलते हैं I think, that is there. Okay, so that is for aspire because that's an exceptional case basically. So वो put किया होता है dictionaries में mostly ऐसा होता है, या फिर वो उसमें inverted commas में होगा, one of these two things. Okay, so yeah, I mean still I'm mentioning it again that even if you do an error in this again, still okay. I mean, okay, जैसे एक और example दे देती हूँ. I have seen le handicap also, le handicap, DICAP, le handicap, and L apostrophe handicap, both the forms. Now, grammatically, this one is considered wrong. This one is considered right because this is aspire, okay, and it's not an actual French word, okay, but still, I mean, I've seen both, and actually in French newspapers that I'm talking about, not just in general French writing, but in French newspapers which come from France itself. So it's normal. Okay. Moving on, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this, but it was just a concept to understand, okay? Je vais vous expliquer les accents in French. So for accents in French, what you have is like, I'm going to repeat this part first of all. You have सिखाया था अभी अभी, ठीक है? For example, all of these words, on va lire ensemble. Répétez avec moi. Portable. Portable.
Portable.
Oui. Portable is a mobile phone, right? Then now you will pronounce. You people will pronounce these. Please try.
Zone.
Oui, zone. So it's not zone, it's zone. का sound आ रहा है. Yeah. Then you have
Visible.
visible. Le का sound. Visible नहीं है. Then
Montre.
montre. Montre can be a wristwatch and also show, as in to show, the verb to show. Then qu'est-ce que c'est?
Regarde.
Regarde. That's a verb conjugation. That is to watch. To watch. Then qu'est-ce que c'est?
Visit.
Visit. Is to visit. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Chant.
Chant. Is to sing. So generally when we teach you verb conjugations, वहाँ पे जब हम endings लगाते हैं verb को conjugate करके, students have a wrong tendency to mispronounce as visiter, regarder, je visiter, je regarder. Please don't do that. It's a huge mistake which is going to lay a huge impact on your grammar, on your sentences, on your tense. Your tense will entirely change from present to past. You don't want to do that unless you actually mean something in the past. So please make sure that these pronunciations, they are always on track. का sound है. Visite नहीं है, visit है. Just like I said, English में please नहीं बोलते, please बोलते हैं ना. तो French का भी कोई कसूर नहीं है, उसको ऐसे ही रखो. It's the sound only. All right. Now I'm coming on to the next sound, which is that of A. Now please notice carefully that in French you have one accent on the right hand side and another one is on the left hand side, which is this. Even if you can't remember the names, that's completely okay, but you need to know the pronunciations correctly. So accent aigu bolte, accent aigu, please repeat, accent aigu.
Accent aigu.
Acute accent hota hai ye, which is on the right hand side. I should write it here, right side. Okay, and this one is on the left side, like inclining towards the left side. So the difference of the pronunciation goes hereby. So what you have is A, this one is A, right? Just like saying A. And this one is A. This is A. And this is A. Please repeat A.
A.
This is A.
A.
So I've tried to write down the Hindi ones also. If you're comfortable with that, that would work. And for those who are very comfortable with Hindi also, I'm going to tell you that this in Hindi is called A. Iski jo matra, that's also towards the left hand side. And this also is towards the left hand side. So it's just the same in Hindi and in French. A. Okay. For those who are not very comfortable with Hindi script, don't worry, it's okay. Just remember left side or right side ke hisab se and you will know. So this is going to be A and A, right? Now, further, what you have is some examples. Can someone try pronouncing this? This is A ka sound, right?
Telephone.
Telephone.
Now, notice that both the sounds of A and A will go parallel to each other. So many students mispronounce as telephone. It's not telephone, it's telephone.
Till.
Okay. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
École.
École. It's the A sound. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Cafe.
Cafe. So it's the A sound here and then cafe. Cafe. Then what is this?
Mina. Ball.
Ménage. May and then nage. Ménage.
Yeah.
This is ménage. Right? Ménage, which is household. Right? Then you have the A sound. So try saying this.
Père. Père.
Père. Père, which is for father. Next one.
Mère.
Mère for mother. Third one.
Frère.
Frère.
Père, which is for brother. And the last one.
Très.
Frère, which means very.
Frère.
Okay, very. Très. So it's not très. Many students mispronounce this as très. It's not très. It's not très bien. It's très bien. Très bien. So if you pronounce correctly, obviously you will write correctly and you will speak correctly, right? So make sure that spellings become an important part of your self-study. Voila. Then you have the accent chapeau, but till here, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
No, all good.
Okay, fine, cool. Moving on. So you have a chapeau, which looks like a cap or a hat on the top of these 5 alphabets only, and you won't find it elsewhere. Okay, also here, just a second, I'm kind of having to come back here. So see, also you have an accent with A. I need to just copy it down from the keyboard. Seem to have skipped that. This one. So this grave accent, you will only find it on top of this alphabet and on top of A. This is sounded as A only, right? This first alphabet was also A. This is also A. Isko A nahi change karna hai, theek hai? So I'm putting it in a different color. So this is A, which turns into a preposition, which means to/at/in. For those of you who have attended my preposition workshop, you will know to add in A. Okay. Now, next is this is A, E, O, U. These alphabets, as I told you earlier. Now, what happens is that chapeau will only come on top of these 5 alphabets, and if you see it on top of some other alphabet, then it's going to be some other language. It's not French then. Okay, so in all of these 5 alphabets, when you have these accents, for first 2, A and when you have this, it becomes a short sound for A and like it changes to A, and this changes to eh. I'm not saying eh, I'm saying eh. So thoda sa short sound ho jata hai. Let's look at some examples so that it comes better clear to you. These are the words which I've chosen with it. So the A sound here, can someone try pronouncing the first word, please?
Gâteau.
Gâteau, that's right. Gâteau. Gâteau is a word for a cake. Gâteau. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Chateau.
Chateau. So that's a word for, does anyone know?
Cup for a house.
Castle.
Okay. Can someone pronounce this?
Albert.
Oui, albâtre. Okay, which is an albatross. Albâtre. Batre. So I'm not saying albâtre, I'm saying albâtre. थोड़ा सा sudden होता है, हल्का सा बहुत ही minor फर्क पता लगता है. It's just that you have to make it a part of the spelling. You have to learn it as a part of the spelling, because in French, chapeau is not an accent which comes in many words. So there are very limited words with it. So every single time you come across a new word with it, please just make it a part of your memory. Okay. Another one is eh. For example,
Fête.
fête, which is a party or a festival. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Bête.
Bête, which is a word for stupid, and then
Tête.
Bête, which is a word for head. Stupid, and actually bête is also, I've seen it is a word used for also beast and sometimes for animals. Animal. I've seen all of these usages also of this word. Okay, so it is understandable via the context. Now you have tête, which is a head, and this is a city name in France. It's a town actually. So can you please read the pronunciation?
Anglome. Anglome.
So yeah. Also in French, you have the an sound, which is going to come a little further. An is on. It's going to be pronounced as Angoulême. Angoulême.
Angoulême.
Angoulême. OU is oo. Okay. All of these sounds will come a little later in this document. Angoulême. Okay. That's a town in France. And then I've colored these in brown. Okay. And the remaining ones I've kept black, because the black ones, there is no change for them. Like for I, O, and U, there is no change. So in pronunciation, as to say. But then you ask me that fir lagana kyun hai zaruri hai? The thing is that it's just a part of spelling of some words, because also it's French is a combination of a lot of languages which, you know, just combined up or maybe borrowed words or whatever, you know, historical meanings and all. So is wajah se some of the words are kept a certain way, and hence you have words like dinner, which in French are called dîner. So you won't notice any particular sound ka change in this. It's agar ye nahi bhi laga hota to bhi isko dîner hi bolte, but it's just a part of its spelling. And if you don't put it, then obviously it's considered a wrong spelling. Dîner. Can you please pronounce this?
Tine. Gite.
Jeet. Jeet. A mat bolo. Please don't pronounce this as A. This is jeet. Okay. G ka still understandable. अभी मैंने बताया नहीं है. पर ये वाला मैंने 2-3 बार बता दिया है. Please make sure you don't mispronounce it. This is jeet. Jeet, which is a cottage. Okay. कैसे से?
Il.
Il, which is an island. Right. Then you have O. Again, no major change in the pronunciation. Again, I'm telling you that it is like a part of its spelling. Qu'est-ce se? How will you pronounce this? The T will remain silent.
Yeah.
IEN in French is sounded as yan. Iske notes आगे हैं इसमें. Bientôt. Repeat. Bientôt. Okay. Try pronouncing this.
Chômage.
Chômage, which is say unemployment. Okay. Then further it is
Mur.
mur, which is right. Okay. Then next one.
Sûr.
Sûr, which is to say sure. Then next one.
Gu.
Goût. Now this is T silent here. Goût. This is coming from the verb goûter, which is to taste. Okay. So goûter is to taste, and therefore this becomes the noun form. Goût, which is the word for taste as a noun, right? Then I'm coming on to another accent. This I have highlighted in blue because it is rarely ever used. I mean, very few words in French do have this. Okay. It's called a diaresis, or you can say tréma in English. In French, it is le tréma. Le tréma. Okay, this one was chapeau. This is tréma. This basically comes as a double dot on top of 3 alphabets only. It won't be found on any other alphabet in French especially. And if you see, then it's obviously going to be another language. So these 3, you see that these are double dots basically on top of alphabets. So this accented vowel must be pronounced distinctly from the vowel that precedes it. It's like a transition, because when you have, it will always come in a case when you have 2 vowels and the second one carries it. 2 vowels coming together in a word, and the second one carries this accent. So what's happening here is O-E, O-L, Noel. You see that the O sound is distinctly pronounced from the E sound, Noel, which is the word for Christmas. Can someone try pronouncing this?
Mais.
Mais. Mais, yes. Mais is a word for maize or corn, but also on the other hand, you have a word, this word in French. Can someone pronounce that?
Mais.
Here the S is also silent, there the S was also silent. S is silent, may. May connector for but, may. I'll tell you why the difference is there. AI, here there is no double dot on I. Therefore, AI will be sounded as a complete combined sound, so that is may. Right? But there's another word in French in which the I has a double dot. So what's happening is that the accented vowel I is being pronounced distinctly from the vowel that precedes it. इसके साथ नहीं pronounce कर रहे हैं, इसको I का sound है. It's like a transition between I and E. So mais, and here the sir is also sounded. Now, if you ask me why is it sounded here and why not here, then it has no answer. It's just the way it is fixed. Okay. So I told you right in the beginning that there are going to be exceptions. So this is one of them. So you have mais and me. Mais is to say maize or corn, and this is me, which is but. Okay. Then you have next word. Can you try pronouncing that?
Naive.
Naive. Naive. This is the English knife. This is naive, as in to say naive. Masculine form of the word naive. Okay. Till here, if you have questions, please ask me.
No. I think they're all different due to wherever they're being incorporated from.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, please.
How do we know that where we need to put chateau, or whether we need to put it here or not?
The chapeau?
Yeah.
Okay. See, again, that I mentioned that it's going to be a part of very few words in French. It's not like there's a huge list for these words. So every single time you come across a word, please make it a part of your memory, because that's the only way. Okay. It's really the only way. So like, I'm going to say that for me, well, French accents were much easier. When I started learning Spanish, therein the accents seem difficult, more difficult also because उसमें तो pronunciation का भी बहुत ज़्यादा difference नहीं होता. Okay, so you know the thing is that for French it is easier in terms of if you have to talk about the aigu or grave, it's a or a clearly, so obviously you have to put it accordingly. For the chapeau, you have to remember it as a part of its spelling. That's the only way. And में थोड़ा सा help हो सकता है because if it's the eh sound, fet or bet or tet, something like that, it's going to be easier for you to remember. But for these three especially, it's going to be slightly more challenging. That's the case, right?
Okay.
Any other questions still here? Ok, d'accord. On va progresser. Voilà. Alors maintenant, vous avez le cédieu. You have the cédieu. Cédieu is basically this tiny 5 kind of a thing. It's not exactly a 5, but it's like a matra. It's a छोटा सा 5 type का लगता है. C के ठीक नीचे. It's the sound of sir. Okay. Its role is to change the sound of k into sir. Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est? Prononcez ça, s'il vous plaît.
Garçon.
Garçon. You have the sir sound, garçon, which is a boy. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Français.
Français. Français. So the language that you're learning is French in English, but in French it is called français. Français. It could be nationality or it could be the name of the language. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
This one?
Leçon. It's a lesson. That's right. Après ça, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Means
Maçon, which is a mason or a bricklayer. Right? Voilà. Maintenant, okay. Now I need you to also know that this C, the alphabet C, when followed by A, E, O, U, all of these vowels, it is pronounced separately, differently every single time, right? So for example, C, A, this will be pronounced as Ka. It will be pronounced as Ka, right? So you have, for example, this word. Can you please try pronouncing?
Caramel.
Absolument. C'est caramel. Ka. Caramel. Okay. Here the D will remain silent. Can you please try pronouncing?
Anna.
Canard. That's right. A ka sound, right? Can you try pronouncing this? The H is silent, as I've told you already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cahier, which is a notebook. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Carte.
Which is a card. Okay. Again, I'm taking up CA, but this one was without an accent, right? Ka ka sound de raha tha. With the accent, it's going to be giving the sound of sa, like, right? So likewise, you have this word here. Try pronouncing.
Effacable.
Affisable.
Effacable. A ka sound galat mat karo. It's very simple. It's the A sound. Effacable. Repeat it. Effacable. Effacable is something that's erasable. Okay, this document is giving you a hell lot of vocabulary also. I've chosen words like that. Effacable, which is erasable. Then next one.
Sava.
Sava, just to say all good. Okay. Then you have this. I've highlighted these in blue for a simple reason that if CE is followed by C is followed by alphabet E or say is followed by alphabet E, it is going to be automatically in itself sir or C. You do not need to put an accent sedia below it. Now, if you ask me why, again, there's no such rule. I wish I could make it easier for you if I had decided the language, but that's not possible. It's just the way it is fixed in the language. So you have to remember that this is sir and this is C, right? So you have this. It's very ironical. This country की language हम सीख रहे हैं, उसके खुद के name में sir का sound और वो accent का rule follow नहीं कर रहा है. It's an exception. Comment prononcer ça en français?
France.
France. Also, please don't make a mistake of pronouncing this as français. This is not français. français वो दूसरा वाला है जो यहाँ पे करा था ये वाला. ठीक है? This is France. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Balance.
Balance. Balance, which is a balance. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Anno, which is an advertisement. It's not an announcement, it's an advertisement. Okay. Then you have CI, which is C. Again, I told you that this does not need an accent, and so you're going to pronounce it as a C. Okay. Therefore, this is
Cinema.
cinema. You're not saying kinema, and you're not even putting the accent. You're saying cinema, right? Voilà. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Cigarette.
Cigarette. Cigarette. Cigarette. Cigarette. Next one is in the normal rules, not in the blue ones. Okay, so this is an exception. Both of them are exceptions. Now we have CO, which is co. Repeat it, co.
Co.
And if you put an accent just below it, it becomes a so. Okay, so co and so. Now this should be
Compose.
compose. Compose, which is to compose. Okay, then next one.
Connect.
Connect. This is a verb which only upper level students or जिन्होंने थोड़ी बहुत A1 में भी आगे तक पढ़ लिया French, only those will know. But right now just focus on pronunciation. Even if you're not able to memorize all the words and the meanings, that's completely fine. I need you to focus on pronunciation today. Recording को तो go through करना ही पड़ेगा चाहे class attend की है चाहे नहीं करिए. In any case, this is connaître. Connaître, which is to know. Next one, I am coming on to the sound of O, yes, with the sedia. Okay, so you have so here. On va prononcer ce mot. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Façon.
Façon. So you're having the pronunciation of son here. Façon, which is a fashion or manner. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Maçon.
Maçon, which is a bricklayer. Okay, next one.
Glaçon.
Glaçon, which is an ice cube. Okay. Next is CU. This is pronounced as Q, whereas C Dieu, U is pronounced as Su. Q, Su. So this should be, we just did it a while ago.
Culture.
That's right. Q, not culture, not culture. I told you this is Q. Culture. Yes. Culture. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Culpable.
Culpable is a guilty. Okay? Le culpable is a person who's guilty. Now, this one is Su. And so this word should be
Reçu.
Reçu, which is a word for a receipt as a noun. This document that you get after having made a payment, receipt, that is a reçu. And reçu is also a past participle of the verb recevoir, to receive. Okay, so received. So both of the forms. Then this one.
Sur.
Placure, which is to say placement. Okay. Then you have GA, which is pronounced as ga. Right? Therefore, this should be
Carton.
garçon, which is a boy. This is
Garage.
Did you notice that you pronounce this as g and this one as je? For the simple reason that GE ka jo sound hota na, that is je. So GA is ga, whereas this one here, it will give the sound of je. I'm coming to this in just a while. This is garage. This is
Gare.
gare, which is a train station. Okay. Then you have this one, JE, French में इसको J बोलते हैं, JE, okay. Also, this is not the Hindi वाला typical J, and it's not the English वाला typical J. It's a slight bit different sound of when you say in English television. English में television बोल के देखो सब लोग. Television में जो J का आवाज आ रहा है, this is that J. Okay. So Geneva in French is called क्या? Try करो.
Genève.
Genève. एक का sound है. Genève.
Pushpa. Chal bas kar.
Can you please mute yourselves? Okay. Genève, which is Geneva. Okay. Then you have this. That's
Affichage.
That's right. Affichage. That's a display. Okay. Affichage. Then
Ménage.
ménage, which is household, and then you have garage also. Je का sound है ये वाला, ठीक है? Garage. Voilà. Moving on. This is GI. GE or GI और यहाँ पे भी CE or CI का ही exception था. Okay. GI will be pronounced as G. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Biologie.
Biologie, which is biology, and it's not biology because it's E ka sound in French. Biologie. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Giraffe. Okay. Then you have GO, not an exception. This is pronounced as go. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Gobelet.
Gobelet. ET is a sound of A in the end. It will come in the notes. Gobelet, which is a disposable cup. Then
Gomme.
which is an eraser. Next one is GU, which is gu. So like you had the accent name, aiguë. Repeat it, aiguë.
Aigu.
This is
Gu.
it's gonna goose both actually, unfortunately. I'll underline the S here, I won't make it red. It's called goose. Goose, and that's a informal word for a guy. Okay, so Gus, this boy, this guy. Okay. What is the difference between a gobelet and une tasse? It's just that this one is a plastic glass that you can easily throw. This is a disposable one, basically you can use for on a picnic, for example. And une tasse is something made of a hard material in which you can drink your tea or coffee. That's a cup, normal cup. Okay. Talking about consonants, but before that, I want to ask you if you have questions still here.
Ma'am, in go, is T silent?
ET is the sound of A. ET is sounded as A. Therefore, gobelet. A. Gobelet. Okay?
Gobelet.
I think there was someone else also asking something.
Just got one question and might be done again. So the task thing, right? So task, is that the correct pronunciation? Correct?
Yes, that's right. Tas. Double S in French is sounded as sir, tas.
So if I want to say a glass of tea, tasse un thé, would that be correct?
No. That's glass in French is verre. Glass is verre. Tas is a cup.
Tas is a cup. Sorry.
Yes, I'll write that here.
Verre.
Verre, that's a glass. Okay. Un verre de thé or une tasse de thé. Okay. Glass hota hai and cup hoti hai French mein. I know that's weird, but that's the way it is. Okay. So there you go. Any other questions? Yes.
So one small question regarding making questions. So if I wanted to say, I want a glass or I wanted a cup for my coffee or I wanted a cup of coffee, how would you frame both of these questions?
Cup of coffee, une tasse de thé. Je voudrais une tasse de thé. So that would be like I need a cup of coffee. Okay.
I need a cup. That'd pour coffee.
No, you don't use all of that. No, don't do all of that. English translations nahi karni. ठीक है?
Okay.
Une tasse de thé. Simply just une tasse de thé, une tasse de café.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Okay. See? Alors, maintenant, on va progresser some combinations of vowels. Now, this is more challenging because these are like syllables that come in words, and also, you know, one of the struggles is to identify कि कौन सा. कई बार क्या होता है कि two kinds of syllables are coming together, and I teach them a certain way to students, and students are like, ये वाला भी तो है इसमें, इसको क्यों नहीं pronounce किया? That is for the simple reason that, see, you know, it takes practice also to identify the syllables, the ones to prioritize and to pronounce a certain way. So that will definitely come with practice, but you should know the ground rules, basically. That's what I'm laying for you right now. So you have a, u, x, which is the pronunciation of O. No matter whether ये अलग-अलग देखने में लग रहे हैं, इसको u, o, ox नहीं बोलना है. This is O only, right? Even the alphabet O is just O. These four sounds, pretty much. So I have taken up some examples with E, A, U का जो sound है यहाँ पे. Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Bureau.
Bureau, which is an office or a desk, right? And you must have used this word or seen this word in English as well, because it's a loaned word. Loaned as in it's a borrowed word from English. Okay, no, actually in English it is, I'm sorry, I kind of got distracted. So I was saying that in English it is used because it's a French origin word, and in English it has been borrowed. Okay, so that's an office or a desk. Next one.
Kado.
It's a word for a gift. Then so, which is a word for a boat. Okay. Now, next one is AU. You almost have seen this greeting. How do you say this? Wow. Is to say goodbye, right? Then this should be
Show.
show. Sound is show. Show. P ka silent रहेगा यहाँ पे sound, and show is what? Yes, yeah. Please remember that the serve will be sound. This is the next one. Autobus. Autobus is to say a bus. It's a bus simply. Okay. Bus भी बोल देते हैं, but autobus is better. Okay. Now, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Pau.
Pau is a tiny town which is located towards the southwest of France. Pau. Okay. And also, I'm reminded P-E-A-U. Pau. This is Pau. Also, this is a word for skin. Okay. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Bureau.
Bureau. Bureau, which is an office, right? Bureau, which is offices now this time, because see, the thing is that if you have to make the plural of a noun which ends in U, you do not put an S in the end, you put an X in the end instead. So it has to be an X here, and you've got to say bureau with an X. Like you don't say bureaux, obviously not, it's bureau. Okay, and so this is for offices, this is for desks. Now this one,
Cadeau.
cadeau. So again, you're not saying cadeaux, but what you're doing is just this word is ending in U, and so you're putting X in the end to make it gifts plural. Again, the same thing with bateau will be
Bateau.
bateau. So you have to put X in the end because it was ending in U. U में end हो रहा है जो भी word, उसके साथ हम X लगाते हैं, S नहीं लगाते. That's a rule for making it plural. Coming on to the next sound, which is that of O-N, A-N, O-M, A-M. These are the sounds of nasal sound of right? The Hindi transcript of this will help you a lot because this is open, because there's another one which is that's a closed one. These both sounds, they exist. Okay, so when you have these four sounds, it's going to be ka sound. Therefore, likewise, this should be
Arsham.
which is money or silver, color silver, okay, or the material silver. Okay, then this one, T silent. Don. That's right. The T will remain silent. Don. This is tooth. This is
Envelope.
envelope. Envelope. Many people, they in English also they pronounce it as envelope, which is correct. Envelope nahi hota hai ye envelope hota hai because it's a French word. So even in English it is pronounced as envelope. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Enfant.
AN का भी sound है इसमें. Enfant ये मैंने यहाँ पे भी select किया. Enfant, which is a child. For AN sound, I have selected city names. Alors, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Orléans.
Orléans. Répétez Orléans. Okay, Orléans is a city in France. Okay, then
Rouen.
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 Yes, pronouncing better. Great. Rouen. Then
Angoulême.
Angoulême. On का sound है Angoulême. Angoulême. Okay, this should be
Le
Le Mans. This is Le Mans.
Mans.
Le Mans. Okay, that's also a French city. Then this is Enfant, which we already did. This one,
Éléphant.
Éléphant. Éléphant. D'accord? It's not éléphant, it's éléphant because you have an accent both the times. Éléphant. Voilà. Next one is OM, which is this. Try.
En face.
Emphase, which is an emphasis. Next one.
Empreinte.
Empreinte. Empreinte is a word for imprint. Imprint actually. Okay. And then
Tempête.
tempête. Tempête is a word for a storm. Right? Next is AM. Try.
Tambour.
Oui. Tambour, which is a drum. Then
Ampoule.
ampoule, bulb. Then
Jambe.
jambe, that's a leg. Then
Chambre.
chambre. Chambre. Ro ka sound. Chambre, which is a bedroom. Okay. Next is UN ka sound. This is a closed one. This was on. This is on. Okay. Again, I've taken some cities here. Try.
Lyon.
Lyon, which is a French city. Lyon. Then
Dijon.
Dijon, another French city. Then
Pantoufle.
now you have the pantalon. Yeah, pantalon. Pantalon. So you have So दोनों की दोनों sounds आ गए इसमें यहाँ पे. Pantalon. That's a pair of trousers. Then menton. Again, so you have both the sounds menton, which is chin. Then no, which is to say no. Okay, it's a nasal sound. No. Okay. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So you don't say bonjour, it's bonjour. Bonjour. Hi, hello, good morning. Then you have OM, which is the sound again of closed on. This is ombre, which is shadow. Then omelette, and then हाँ ये वाला थोड़ा रेयर होता है इसके एग्जांपल्स बहुत ज्यादा है नहीं आज सच तो omelette omnipresent ombre okay these are very few थोड़े से words मुझे थोड़े इसमें लिस्ट में मेरे को complex words मिले थे but I did not prefer to add them because they would have confused you big time You have the sound of ER, EZ, ET, EI, AE. ये सारे 5 के 5 sounds देख लो ध्यान से, ये A होते हैं. These are A. The first alphabet of English language, A. Right? So this should be
Parler.
parler. That is to speak. That's a verb. Then
Visiter.
visiter or
Chanter.
chanter. So जितने भी verbs होते हैं French में, जितने जो ER group में end होते हैं, all of them have the pronunciation A. Okay. Next one.
Ne.
Then
Chez.
J, and then
Assez.
assez, which is sufficient. Okay. Then here
Chalet.
cottage. So gîte भी बोलते हैं and chalet भी बोलते हैं. Both words are equally correct. Then
Chalet.
châtelet, which is small castle. Then
Rocher.
that's a hook. Okay. Then
Neige.
neige, that is snow. Then
Beige.
beige is the color. Then
Eiffel.
Eiffel. उसी sound को adapt करो please. Eiffel, that's the tower, Eiffel Tower. Then Reine. So that's a queen. Then last few words for today. This is
Calais.
Calais. That's a Calais. This is
Frais.
fresh, cool और fee के लिए भी बोलते हैं. अब ये fresh और cool तो चलो same हो गया, but frais is also used for the word fee that you pay. Okay, so frais. Okay, so both the contexts. French words, they will sound similar and look similar, but then they might have different meanings also. This is lait, which is milk, and this is May, which is the month of May. So I'm going to end this till here because we are yet to continue. I've created a really long document to include everything, but I was not sure of how much can be covered in this 1 hour. But yes, I think we've covered pretty much well. Jitna bhi base abhi banaya hai. I'll need you to revise all of this for today so that, you know, aage ka jitna portion hai, that will seem even easier. And I'll be sending you these resources about after 1 hour because right now I have another session to start. Okay, so I'll get going. And I hope you don't have any questions. In case you do, please let me know quickly right now. Seems fine? Okay, fine. So go ahead with the revision of this. I'll be sending you this in a while, okay? And then we discuss further in our tomorrow's session, okay? Come to me with your questions, and in case you, in between also you have any questions, you can just write to me on WhatsApp. All of you have my WhatsApp number, d'accord? Ok, donc maintenant, en ce moment, je vais terminer, ok? Et on se voit demain. Je vous souhaite une excellente journée. Au revoir.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir. Merci.